Jay's very complicated life, making him believe he's Wayland, and then son of another one, and son of another one, and maybe he's born from Zeus. That's me.
Poor Jace. Yeah, no, I feel bad for Jace. His life is so complicated. You know, he doesn't really know who he is.
Jace non sa chi è, povero Jace, è complicato. Vive emo.
Yeah, he's very emo.
Yeah.
Well, I needed him to believe that he was the son of Valentine. What?
Yeah, they were asking me for a picture. È automatico. Dovete spingere il tasto.
Scusate,
Ma certo non c'è un obiettivo fisso.
ah, ok.
Let's
Go
go.
on,
Keep going.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to explore with Jace was the idea of shifting identity. That he didn't really know who he was. He was sure. He starts out the books very sure that he knows everything about, you know, life, about his father, about his family, about how, you know, shadow hunters are better than mundanes. And then when Clary comes into his life, she changes his views about everything. You know, suddenly he stops thinking all shadow hunters is intrinsically better than normal human beings, and he also stops thinking about, you know, his father that he had, you know, made in his head into a great hero, as a great hero, and realizes in fact he's a great villain. And so it makes, for me, the choices that Jace makes more significant and important, because he's trying to decide who he is, even though his name and his identity keep changing.
Ok, l'identità di Jace è molto complicata. All'inizio della serie l'ho disegnato scritto, sicuro di sé, convinto che gli Shadowhunter siano meglio degli umani, che suo padre sia un eroe, che gli angeli siano una razza superiore. In realtà quando incontra Clary già la sua convinzione comincia a vacillare, quindi ho basato molto di questo libro sul fatto del cambio di identità, di come alcune cose incontri cambiano la tua vita, diciamo, e Jace è molto complicata appunto per questo motivo, perché le sue convinzioni stanno vacillando. About the movie version of the books, about seeing characters that are yours, intimately yours, and like your son and daughters. How do you feel with the idea of seeing them on screen?
I think it is a little bit like having a child, and then the first day that you send them away to school all alone, and you think that, you know, you hope that they're going to be okay.
Credo che sia come quando mandi i tuoi figli a scuola per la prima volta e speri che tutto andrà bene, sai che sarà da solo, e speri che tutto andrà al meglio.
I know there's not that much control that you have over the movie when you're a writer, in most cases, and so I just have to sort of wait and watch while they do, you know, while they write the script, while they make changes, while they, you know, cast all the roles, and I have to hope that it turns out good, because, you know, there's nothing I can do if I don't like it.
Quello che lo scrittore non ha un grandissimo controllo su quello che succede nel film, però abbiamo possibilità di riguardare gli script, le sceneggiature, di scegliere gli attori insieme ai responsabili del casting, e sperando che tutto riesca al meglio e che le persone lo apprezzino.
But so far they have been good about involving me and asking me questions about the casting and you know, the important characters, and listening to what I have to say. They wanted to cut out Magnus and Alec, and I said, no, you can't. You know, you can't do that. Absolutely not. So, you know, back they go into the movie, which is good. So I am optimistic, but you know, as we say in the US, we keep our fingers crossed for good luck.
Adesso mi hanno coinvolto molto nel casting e tutto il resto, però alcune cose non sono sotto il mio controllo. Per esempio volevano tagliare Alec e Magnus, io assolutamente no, in questo momento adesso ci sono riuscita. Come diciamo in America, finger crossed, facciamo le dita e speriamo che tutto vada meglio.
Senza Magnus.
In height of times, running your series, giving readers 4 years ago something to explore your urban fantasy young adult world. How do you feel about it? Yeah, you have been ahead of time, yeah. In writing a series of... Right now, all of the series about urban fantasy with fairies, vampires. You've been ahead of time in giving readers an urban fantasy world to put themselves in, their fantasy.
It's not always good to be ahead of time. You know, you have your book comes out. When we first went to sell City of Bones in America, at first the publishers said that they did not want it because teenagers did not want to read about vampires. I'm serious.
La prima volta che cercavamo di vendere City of Bones agli editori americani è stato molto difficile perché gli editori americani non pensavano che i teenager volessero mai leggere i vampiri.
So that didn't turn out to be true.
Non si è rivelato proprio vero.
But originally we found, you know, for me it was a dream, you know, a dream that I had about writing this kind of story, this fantasy, because, you know, there's so much fantasy that I felt was about castles and kings and queens and horses and all of these things that I didn't really identify with. And so for me it was a dream about writing about magic in the world that we live in every day, that exists side by side with cell phones and computers and telephones, and all of these things exist together, that would make it more, you know, to me would make it feel more like the magic was real.
Quello che volevo era portare il fantasy nella realtà, diciamo, c'era già tanto fantasy con castelli, draghi, fate, chi ne ha più ne metta. Quello che volevo fare invece era portare il fantasy nella realtà, in un mondo contemporaneo dove potessi vivere a fianco ai cellulari, a internet, a Facebook, a qualsiasi altro strumento, perché per me così il fantasy è più reale.
And yeah, so I would say also the same thing with even with Clockwork Angel. When I had the idea for it, my publisher made me submit a long list of books that were historical books, or books about the Victorian era for children that had been bestsellers, so that I could, you know, say, you know, this kind of book can be successful.
E quando ho scritto Clockwork Angel e l'ho mandato al mio editore, mi ha detto di mandargli una lista di titoli su quel genere che avessero avuto successo, così che potevamo dimostrare un libro del genere può vendere.
So yeah, but finally we did. I mean, when we were selling City of Bones, we did find an editor who felt like I did about, you know, about magic in modern day, and did buy the book. And then by the time that the book actually came out, because it takes 2 years for a book to come out, Twilight had come out, and suddenly there was this huge demand for books about vampires, werewolves, and romance, and so we were very lucky that way. Yes, I think that it is both. And we were very lucky because there weren't that many books like that, because editors had been saying people don't want these books. So I think that it's both very, it could be a very lucky thing to be first or to be early, and also it can be difficult.
Diciamo che quando a un certo punto abbiamo trovato un editor disposto che si è innamorato della mia serie, e ci vogliono 2 anni per pubblicare un libro, quindi di conseguenza mentre il mio libro veniva scelto e veniva preparata la pubblicazione era uscito fuori Twilight, quindi i lettori hanno cominciato a desiderare libri su vampiri o comunque libri young adult e urban fantasy, e il mio libro ha cominciato ad avere successo. Però diciamo che questa è una cosa molto fortunata, essere diciamo una tesimiana di questo genere, come questa è una cosa sfortunata. Noi siamo stati fortunati in questo caso.